Erika, you've been studying Ebola for quite a few years. Thinking about Ebola, it's a disease that seems to pop up, emerge, and then all of a sudden disappear. And then once again it emerges. And how does that happen? Why does this occur?
So when a virus spreads from its natural reservoir, some animal in the forest, to humans, that's called a spillover event. And it's difficult for some viruses to predict when that spillover will occur. The challenge for Ebola is we don't know who carries it in the forest. We think it might be a bat, but there's no proof. Most Ebola virus outbreaks have been small, 100 people, 200 people, and that's because they've been in remote villages that are isolated from contact, where people don't travel much in and out. 2014 was a surprise because the virus had traveled well over 1,000 miles from where we had ever known it before, and it emerged in a very densely populated area where people travel quite a bit. They live in one town, they work in another, they go to a funeral in another, they have friends in another. So it's a mobile population combined with poor health care and not the same infrastructure to detect and treat disease. You know, when you and I go to the hospital, when we don't know what we're sick with, immediately we're greeted with a nurse wearing gloves. Wearing the gloves is standard practice. But in hospitals in Western Africa, they may not have enough gloves, and so it may not be standard practice, or they may not be in the habit of taking their relatives to a hospital. They may be caring for them at home, and this is why it spreads so rapidly to so many people.
In view of the fact that it's now under control, is there something that we could do to prepare ourselves, and why weren't we sufficiently prepared back then in 2014?
Well, there's a few reasons. One is that we need better surveillance. We need to be looking for the virus in, let's say if we happen to spot that the primates are falling sick and dying in the forest, this is evidence that there might be a virus outbreak going on. We need to survey humans coming down with these kind of viruses. And we can't be complacent with the idea that these viruses are always going to be in the same place we've seen them before. I'll give you a couple examples. You know, Ebola was always in Central Africa. Well, this time it was in Western Africa. And so people may have had some blinders that they weren't expecting the virus there. But viruses travel wherever animals and people travel. Second, people may not have been expecting the virus to get that big. Ebola virus outbreaks have always been constrained geographically and limited by a small number of people. Well, if it's in a small village and nobody goes in and out, it's easier to cordon it off and let the thing burn itself out. But if it's in densely populated cities with millions of people that are traveling everywhere, it's much harder to contain. And so I think there wasn't the expectation that it would ever get as big as it did. And those scientists that said, this isn't a city, this is going to be bad, people thought they were Chicken Little. They were saying the sky was going to fall, when in reality, they were right.
Erika, I want to thank you very much for your help here.
And thank you.